The fire burning red in a Joshua representing of a comes hard here. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you like come son. Red.
Never do, never do, never do. Oh, money, never, money, never, money, money, never, money, money. Now I know what you conniving. Money, money, never, money, never, money, money, never, money, money. You can keep your conniving money. When you been up for a bum, you have been tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, you have been tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never, money, never, money, money, never, money, money. Now I don't want you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in the Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people call calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, with Jah as ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, they got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor. Simona Broomson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North. You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
Comes out your son. You burn the swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them art not kind. Comes, I say them art not kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
Solidarity forever.
The Guyana Trades Union Congress presents May Day Activities 2024.
The theme for this year is galvanizing and mobilizing for workers' empowerment and equal share of the oil wealth.
The May Day activities will start with the wreath-laying ceremony on Sunday, April 28, 2024, 4 p.m. at the forecourt of the Parliament building next to the Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow's monument.
Speakers will be Miss Indira Thakardin of the Guyana Public Service Union, Miss Mariska Williams, First Vice President of the Guyana Teachers Union, Miss Mahalai McCalmont, Vice President for Education of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Miss Kimberly Porter, President of the Guyana Local Government Officers Union. Chairperson and speaker is Miss Giselle Nelson, President of the Guyana Postal and Telecommunication Workers Union.
Then on Wednesday, May 1st, it's Labor Day, and all road leads to the parade ground on Middle Street for our May Day March, as we chant, raising our voices with our flags and banners against the modern-day oppressors for labor rights and better wages within the public and private sectors. We will end our march on the grounds of the Guyana Teachers Union playfield as we assemble in rally form to listen to addresses from our labor leaders like GTUC President Mr. Norris Witter, GTU President Dr. Mark Light, and GTUC General Secretary Mr. Lincoln Lewis.
So mark the dates and come out in your labor colors, and let's raise our voices against that modern-day colonial masters, as we say no to modern-day slavery under the PPPC government and yes to better wages, the rule of law, and full submission to the Constitution of Guyana.
Solidarity forever. See you there.
But without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn.
That is it. They got the PNCR big fundraising bingo. Finally, nobody gotta ask me or molest me for no money. Kind of for Mark. On the 26th of May, I say we there Congress Place. Get your bingo tickets now. Hosted by Chevy, the bingo boss, and it's only $6,000 per ticket. You know, 20 straight game at $100,000 per game. 3-letter game that $200,000 for a game. And hey, I said we got 3 coverall at $1 million. It's 26th of May. I got to be there because you know what? I like my sap, and my sap will be sapping.
So, just an update. We spoke, myself and neighbors.
Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is 7 hours 30 on the 30th day of April in the year 2024. I am your host. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I know you are wondering is why you're looking away or what I'm looking at. I'm looking into my phone. I'm looking for photographs or video. You see me? I tell you, that's why I ain't afraid of nobody. I'm doing the Lord's work. That's what I do. That's why I ain't frighten nobody. Because I know that I was placed here to do a service to humanity, and that service I will continue to do. Morning, are you morning? How was I last night, yesterday, and the day before? How did you sleep last night? How did you pass the day yesterday? What did you achieve yesterday? Do you have renewed hope in humanity? Do you have any hope in your government? Morning, are you morning? I hope that you all had some restful nights. Not a restful night, as a matter of fact. I hope you were productive yesterday and you've earned your keep. I hope you were given value for your labor. And And if you weren't given value for your labor, I hope that you're going to demand the value for your labor in the near future. And I hope that the powers that be will grant you value for your labor henceforth. Those are some of my hopes. I don't know if I'm going to be waiting in vain, but I hope I wouldn't be waiting in vain. Because I will endeavor, as I am doing right now, to do right by the citizens of this country, to fight alongside the citizens of this country. I got some things I got to address quickly. I see, I'm honored. I am honored. Thank you. I don't have the title honorable, but I'm honored. Every day I see in 3 and 4 of them crawling out the woodwork. To come and challenge me on the things I say. But they don't challenge the things I say with facts. You know? Empirical evidence, as people say. They don't challenge the things I say with facts. They don't challenge it with truth. They just come and they spew a certain nastiness. That's what they spew, nastiness. They cuss, they call you this, they talk about that and thing. They carry you back to the 60s. And in the 60s, even with the history they don't get right. I see a man saying in Barnum days, if you talk, you would end up in jail. Well, here, I was born in, well, you all know my age by now, I don't hide them. And I'm looking damn good fit. I was born in 1973. And so I had at least 12 years of Barnum. When Barnum died, I was at least 12 years. Right? Assuming, did he die in 1980 or 85? If he died in 80, I was at least 7 years. 85, I was at least 12 years. I think he died in 1980. Don't ask me to remember that. That history, I can always check something. But the fact is, by the time Barnum died, I was a conscious human being. I was a youngster. And so the likes of this clown that come here talking nonsense can't come and tell me Barnum this and Barnum there and Barnum the other. I lived for 12 years in Barnum time. I see Barnum walk through the village or villages and people cuss him and he cuss them back. You know what I'm saying? I dare you to contest that fact. Barnum was a man among the people he used to interact with, the people he used to treat. I went to Hope Estate and people cuss Barnum and Barnum cussed them back. No police was involved. Nobody got locked up. But I also lived in a period where a youth man was on a water distribution truck. And Jack the entourage was passing and he showed him, he made a finger. And he ended up in jail or locked up. They locked him up. So when you all come here with this revisionist history, you all come right with it because folks like me, I might look like young, fresh, and green, but it's an old head you're talking to. It's not a clown. Apart from living those days, I'm educated, I'm read. Widely read. I could do good research. That's why I could tell you all about the ERP and the benefits that the ERP were intended to and brought to this country that the PPP enjoyed. I want we got there yet. I did about long, I did upon this land long, I know what's going on. So don't come here with that foolishness. But I'm not lock up anybody for talking. And I ain't a Burnham defender. The history is there. Just as how I could show you that Jack Dio lock up a youth man for showing the entourage a middle finger. You bring the evidence and show me who Burnham lock up for talking. Do that. I know y'all just come for aggravate me, but I'm not usually aggravated by y'all. I'm amused by y'all ignorance and the expectation that y'all got that other people gonna fall prey to y'all ignorance. That is what happens to the PPP and their followers. The PPP could push all kind of crap down your throat and y'all swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Audrey is saying that the system wasn't in the 80s. I dare to modify that statement. There was always corruption in government, but corruption was not as prevalent. Corruption is now the order. The 60s and 80s corruption would have been the... Why are you calling me so early? Caller, how may I help you?
Good morning, my blessed and wonderful brother. Once more, I like everything what you're saying. You just know what's going on.
Hold for me. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. You know the calling time for the program?
You know, I never really checked the time.
Okay. 8 and 8:15 there about.
Oh, I don't call back. I don't call back. I apologize. I don't call back.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that, right?
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.
Yeah. Corruption in the 80s would have been the 60s and 80s was like onto the exception. Corruption nowadays is the order. Ethics and honesty is the exception nowadays. Right? And let me explain this to you. Dr. David Hines, the other day we were talking on this program, we were talking about corruption and anti-corruption. And note, Dr. David Hines said one of the reasons Fabs Burnham and UC Guyanese fell out was because UC Guyanese got whispers that some people were being corrupt in the government, and he challenged. He raised it with Burnham, and Burnham put together, I think, an integrity commission or something that had to report to him. And Guyanese challenged him and said, who you going to report to? Something to the extent. Right? But Burnham took action against corruption in the same discussion that we had. Right? Dr. David Hines spoke of former Prime Minister and Mayor Hamilton Green and the sheet piling matter that went before Burnham. The outcome might not be what everybody wanted, but action was taken. And I'm sure if you were to check, you can go through history and you will recognize, I grew up hearing people say, Burnham say you could thief, but don't get catch. You know what I mean? It's a threat. Do what you want, man, but don't get catch. In other words, if I catch you, you're going to pay the price. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something. I mean, it is alleged. Let me say it is alleged because while I know this story, all right, I don't need to call anybody's name quite frankly. I will remember. Some of you might be able to identify that story. I know of a senior army man who lost his seniority and his job, if I remember, because he stole GDF's property. I think it might have been some windows. I think he might have been the store's man, and some windows went missing. So Burnham and, by extension, to some extent, the PNC, Desmond Knight, because Desmond Knight was the president after Burnham. They didn't encourage blatant corruption the way it is encouraged by the PPP. Let's keep that in mind. Sometimes it don't benefit you to engage some dunces, because Raphael Martin is one of those dunces. Therefore, you are saying, if you should get into government, you will be corrupt. Did I say that? I say corruption is always in government. Every government, and check across the world, there is always corruption in government. Check the US. Not so long ago, the US had to jail. No, they didn't jail him. Not so long ago, an Indo-Guyanese, let me be specific here, lost all of his retirement benefits because he was a federal worker in the transportation system, I think, and he was corrupt. He was corrupt. In the great US, as we like to say, they waited until the day or the week of his retirement, and then they dropped the charges and so on him. I think he had his family member's son employed as this unqualified and all of that. I remember the story MTA. These things that I tell you, you can go Google, you can do research, you can find it, slap dab right in your face. Corruption is always in government. The level of corruption, is what becomes troubling. Because when corruption is not endemic, when it is not a low brother, quite frankly, it can be tackled because people know that if they're caught, they will be dealt with condignly, as an example. But when everybody is involved in corruption, who is watching the watch, man? You're putting cat for watching milk. Who watching the cat? That's what we got happening in this country. You think the PPP didn't know who smuggled $70 million US, I think, in gold? The gold that was held up, I think, in Curacao. But how are they going to talk? All of them in bed together. You think the senior ranks of the Guyana police force don't know who among them are corrupt? But how are they going to talk? Because all of them in the same boat. I get a story. I tell you a story. I ain't calling nobody name. I'll tell you a story. There was a matter in the Guyana police force. Where a senior policeman learned that another senior policeman was sexually abusing trainee ranks of the Guyana police force, female trainee ranks of the Guyana police force. In other words, a senior officer who was responsible for training was demanding sexual favors from a lot of the females in order for them to get their just dues. That complaint was made to another senior officer. And when it was brought up in the presence of a third senior officer, he said, what are you talking about? Do you talking about this? Will you want to discipline this man for? We got evidence that you just sex them too. That was the end of the matter. Because I guess, like Jesus said, he without sin cast the first stone. And when corruption is endemic, when corruption is as widespread and to some extent accepted by the government like this, all of them are sin. Right? All of them are sin. Somebody adds the topic. The topic is PPP's Putin-esque behavior. In other words, the PPP behaving like Putin. A lot of the actions are, and it's not necessarily Putin, but Russian-like. Guyana is little Russia as we speak. I'll explain that to you as I continue with this discussion. Somebody say, so you're saying that because the BREs infringing the law or the city bylaws by encumbering the pavement, people have a right to do that? I never said that. Again, it's illiterate conclusion that these Gonsis, Christine, or whatever his name, whoever the one is, that they just come up with. I don't know where they just come up with these reasoning. Right? I don't know where that's come up from with these reasonings. But like I said, many times when I answer these people, it's not because I think they value my time. I don't think they're worth my time, but it's a teachable moment. And when you get a teachable moment, take it. When you get a teachable moment, take it. It can be right for the BREs. They seem to treat you as if can be right for the BREs or any business place, as a matter of fact, to encumber the pavement with parked vehicles or anything, as a matter of fact. And it is wrong for the ordinary man, ordinary woman, working poor, eking out a living, to be punished for similar activities. Can be right. It means that there's a law for the rich and there's another law for the poor. The Constitution never intended it for that. All are equal before the law. That is what they say. That is what they say. All. Every single one are equal before the law. They say Lady Justice is blind. So Lady Justice is supposed to see rich and poor. But when you look at how the law is interpreted and how people are treated according to the law in this country by the jurists, you know that Lady Justice sees wealth and poverty. And so everybody is not equal before the law. How is it the policeman going to stop me, an ordinary man, and charge me because I parked diagonally on Rob Street? But they got 2 dozens of vehicles parked diagonally in front of Freedom House on Rob Street. And that policeman dare not go to any of them and hold them responsible. In the US, senators and all of that can't do that. The law is the law for everybody. But in Ghana, because you're associated with Freedom House, you could park how you like, you could double park. And this is, I'm sure people see this every day on Rob Street. And the police will pass all of them at Rob Street, at Freedom House, Wellington or Rob, and come and find me somewhere down Lower Rob Street. And charge me for the same thing that is happening in front of Freedom House. So the police, they are not impartial, are they? They are biased. They're political goons. But Christine wouldn't see that, would he? Because he is among those who benefit from the lawlessness. So y'all crying out about pavement vending. And people mustn't vend on the pave. And people mustn't this and that. I don't necessarily believe people must vend on the pave. I believe if the markets are fixed and extended, these are modern days. A lot of the public infrastructure, public commercial spaces, government operated commercial spaces were built in a time when Ghana was a small economy. And so all these single level markets that we have, should not become multi-level markets. But your government is showing a vision. They're building more sprawling markets. Come down to Monrepo, where Polorian Ekbal is $1 billion business. Okay, Janka, I don't understand that statement. You have a tracking device on you. I know who you're talking to. Oh, I don't know. But be clear if you're talking to me. Yes. Come down to Monrepo, where Polorian Ekbal is $1 billion business. And you will see that this administration built a sprawling, as people say, spanking new market at Monrepo. But every Saturday and Sunday, vendors spill onto the main road. So much so to the extent that they have now decided that on Saturday and Sundays, once market is in progress, they're going to block vehicles from turning off the northern carriageway to the southern carriageway in the vicinity of the market. Go check it. These are not figments of my imagination. These are things that are happening. And so if you have an expanding economy and more people needing vending space and so on, if you're forward thinking, you will recognize we need to do more to accommodate these people. Why is it the government at some point in time could have gone in search of lands in Annandale to buy, to put the market there, because they thought they wanted to move the vendors off of the street. Annandale main road, market road is weak on it. When they wanted to move the vendors from off the road corner, they were shopping around in Annandale for land to buy. It was a large plot of land, but they didn't want to pay the price. A private developer bought it. But I'm just saying to you, or I'm asking you, how is it they recognize the importance of providing a contingency for those vendors when they move them? But in other parts of the country, where the vendors are predominantly Afro-Guyanese, they don't see the need for a contingency. Just move them. Let them go more punished. Let them eat grass. Huh? But y'all are upset when people pointing out these things. The government has not been visionary. They've been there for 23 years plus. And they recognize the importance of upgrading markets. Instead, they spent 23 years plus they come now and still fighting City Hall. If City Hall is empowered, then City Hall can do more for the people, the city dwellers. So all those low-level markets should be high-rises now. But no, the government only see the importance of hotels as high-rises and specialty hospitals and so on that their friends and cronies are building. Right? If you all think street vending is so bad, Let me show you. A lot of you like go to the US. And y'all like talk about the US. And I must say again, I'm grateful, despite the fact I was resistant. I didn't want to go to the US. I didn't want to leave what I was doing to go to the US. But thank God to the people them who insisted that I should go. It is going to help me a whole lot in my activism. Thank God. And thank God for my foresight. I didn't go to the US in line. I continued my activism there. I was gathering evidence to help Guyanese to recognize what's wrong with this country. This is the US. You see that photograph? It's street vending. It is street vending. Street vending is a thing, right? Street vending. Yeah, I know what shot already. It's funny, you know, they don't want people saying that. Video them also. That's all right. It's us. Running along the road, gosh. Hey, you want to pass? All right, guys. I got you. It's a mess. You see that? Street vending. And nobody gets crucified because there are rules and the system works. So if street vending is supposed to shut down at 6 o'clock, street vending is shut down at 6 o'clock. And everybody is made to follow the rules. The problem is not street vending in Guyana. The problem is that we live in a corrupt society where everybody has a friend who facilitates them breaking the rules. And then monkey see, monkey do, so everybody fall pattern. Oh, the one could left his stand there. He left his stand there because his store owner said he could left his stand there. Oh, he has store owner friend, he could left his stand there. I could left my stand too. And then everybody left in a stand. And then the complaint is the vendors are not removing their stands at the end of the day. If on the first occurrence of somebody leaving a stand out there, the rules are used to remove that stand, then people can know not to leave stands out there. But like Agile, if Agile could issue an instruction as a minister and somebody goes over his head and causes him to rescind that instruction, other people can find other people to go over his head to rescind his instructions, and chaos going to develop. This is the problem we got. All is not equal on the eyes of the law. The justice in this country is blind. But then you blame the citizens. Again, this Don's asking me, you see anybody blocking up the pave? The first thing you got to recognize is, again, has to do with foresight. I showed you yesterday a street that was built where a car parked in the middle and even pedestrians can pass comfortably. There's a way to the street. I went in the village, I went in Friendship yesterday, I should have taken those photographs. I'll take them. I'll go and take them. The streets are so narrow that one vehicle sitting in the middle will prevent anything else from passing it. With 4 wheels, even 2 wheels, a bicycle might not be able to drive past a vehicle driving in the middle. But you know what? They mark that street and they mark the center. You know, streets usually at a center line, whether imaginary or other, to show the lanes. They mark it down the middle, and a vehicle cannot fit in any one of the lanes. That is what we have for infrastructure in this country. Now hear me. Why did I bring that up? Because the question is, did you see anybody encumbering the street? No. Why? Because the parapets are wide enough to keep them off the street. The pavements are wide enough to keep them off the street. In this country, we building infrastructure, we building streets, we building roads, and they ain't even got a damn pavement for pedestrians. They ain't got pavement for pedestrians. But you're blaming the citizens? The citizens don't control the coffers of this country. It's your government. A government that doesn't recognize, if I build poor infrastructure with this money that I'm expending now, it's like wasting money, because in the near future, the infrastructure becomes inadequate and it has to be redone. And I don't think it's not that they don't recognize it. It is that they see it as a way of continuing to bleed the coffers of this country for their enrichment and other people, their friends and families and cronies' enrichment. That's what I see it as. That's what I see it as. I don't see it as anything else. But at the end of it all, it is wickedness. Wickedness. An engineer is going to tell you, we can't build a street wider than 8 feet because we ain't got space. But you got 4-foot drain. That is not necessary. If you were to convert that 4-foot drain to a 2-foot concrete drain, it will be more effective, more efficient than the widespread of mud. And you will be able to reclaim at least 2 feet on each side of the road. So you can get an additional 4 foot to extend the road. But no, especially, and I'm repeating this thing because I said it again, but no, in African Guyanese community in particular, we must not build proper infrastructure. We must just get them road because they said they want road. And they're pointing out that we're giving roads to other communities and we're not giving them road. So we can get them road. But years ago, and even now, and I'm going to tell you why I know even now. When the PPP was in government previously, they expended funds that were scarce at the time, quite frankly. And they concreted drains in Annandale. They never did concrete drains in Buxton. That's the kind of comparison I like to make. That is where the apartheid behavior is. Go to Borbis. You go into WIM. I went into WIM. You go into WIM and check WIM. And you're going to see WIM got concrete roads and concrete drains. So they know that if they create concrete drains, they're going to be able to reclaim some more of the land, and so they can build wider roads and wider streets. Not that they don't know. Not that they don't know. They know. But guess what? It doesn't benefit them, or so they think, to do it universally in Guyana. Corinne is saying they should build covers and go to drain. Yes. If you do concrete drains, then you cover them and people can use them as pavements. Yes, they can be used as pavements. So as I say, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're getting to widen the road, you're getting to put pedestrians at a position of safety, and you're also getting to drain the area more efficiently. No. Beasts don't think. They think about how to cause harm. They don't think about how to elevate the people. Anyways, we're talking. And as I talk about that discrimination, because we got there, I said to you yesterday, I am going to show you, I'm going to tell you what the PPP is doing to our teachers. And that is where I say the Putinesque behavior of the PPP. That's what I said yesterday. And before I got here to discuss the matter, I came across this one, which I will share with you. And I will put that in context because they're asking for the context of that. You see what's on the screen here? I'll try to enlarge it. Let me see if I can. List of teachers to attend President's activity. Good afternoon, DEO. Kindly be informed that the following teachers have been identified to be part of a meeting with His Excellency on Wednesday. Hence, they will be leaving tomorrow morning. Please inform the relevant head teachers. Thank you. And there's a list of names there. I don't necessarily want you to get a list of names. I don't need to give you the list of names. Right? As a matter of fact, here's a list of names, which I hope, like I said, I don't really want to give a list of names, but you have to see there's some things that I need you to see. Office of the Regional Chairman, Mabaruma Compound, right? So you know it's Region 1, right? Good. List of teachers to attend President's activity. That's 5 and 510 and 515, at least 15 of them. What I got to do with what I'm telling you about? I can tell you what it got to do with what I'm telling you about. Those teachers are known PPP supporters in the area, Mabaruma. Or many of them are known as, or are seen, are assumed to be PPP supporters. Right? You know why the president calling them? To try to break the back of the teachers' union. I'll explain that to you. The last strike action, if you look across the country, you will recognize that the turnout, especially in PPP strongholds, was surprising. The PPP was taken aback. They didn't expect all them teachers, especially Indo-Guyanese teachers, to come out and support the strike against them. And so in Essequibo, we had that young pastor, I think he's a pastor. He used to give us every morning sermon, an update of what is happening on the coast there. All of them came out and they stood their ground. In Borbis, they came out. They came out across the country in the interior regions. They came out in their numbers. And so the PPP realized what? Hey, even the people who we say support us and we didn't expect them to support this strike, came out on the strike line and they were there. And so we gotta do something. We gotta do something. Because across this country, all the teachers came out and supported the strike, despite the fact we said it was political, despite the fact that we tried to label Coretta McDonald, despite the fact we attempt to say it's an opposition, organized protests and so on, strike. The teachers came out. Like them banner turning against we gotta do something. Them banner recognize that we only looking after ourselves and we keeping them in poverty and subjugation. And so we gotta do something to appease this situation. We gotta win back the hearts of these people. Right? What did they do to win back the hearts of these people? I'm telling you what they did. Across the country, Indo-Guyanese teachers were quietly called by operatives from Freedom House and told, go to the Ministry of Housing for land. If you have an application there, it is going to be fast-tracked. If you don't have an application there, go and put in your application and we're going to give you land. Who did they call? Who did they call? Y'all didn't hear me? Indo-Guyanese teachers. But as I say, if these walls could talk, or Bush Guyanese speak me, Bush Guyanese. And it is not every Indo-Guyanese appreciates the behavior of the PPP, even if they're there with the PPP. Some people are human. They know what's right from wrong. They recognize what is abuse and what is discrimination. And they realize that it could come to bother them and affect them too. And so some people speak out. And so I am telling you this morning that the PPP has reached out to Indo-Guyanese teachers across this country, especially in areas where they did not expect the teachers to come out and support the strike. And they tell them, go to the Ministry of Housing. We got land for you. You recognize recently they had, as I said, the first ever, I don't know if it's bringing government to the people on the East Coast. Dreams come true or something like that. Huh? There's a new, they come on the East Coast and they do the masquerade and they say they give out how much 100 house lots and so on and so forth. As Nigel Hughes likes to say, bring the disaggregated data. One man said to me, is 1 Afro-Guyanese to 8 Indo-Guyanese. For every 8 house lot that has been given to an Indo-Guyanese, 1 Afro-Guyanese has got. I don't have the data. That is what was reported to me. But I can tell you, they call the Indian teachers there, the Indo-Guyanese, and they say, come, we got land for you. You think they stopped there? No. They didn't only appease the Indo-Guyanese teachers, but they went a step further to behave like Putin, to behave like Russia, to intimidate people, to toe the line. I got a particular school I will use as a prime example because I want y'all to go there and check it. But it is across the board, it is happening. It didn't roll out in totality yet, but it's happening. You know what else they did? In those schools where you had 100% turnout for the strike, they went in to to intimidate them. This is how they're intimidating them. They put camera in the school now. And the camera is placed in such a way that whoever monitoring the camera, every member of staff at that school has to pass the camera. So they could sit down at the office of the Prime Minister or in prayer office or wherever they're monitoring the cameras from, and they could say, oh, Pat Jane came 8 o'clock. Harry Tom came at 9:30. Jack and Jill came 7:40. They are monitoring them. So I guess if the next strike action is called, or when the next strike action is called, they got to send policemen and women to find out from head teachers who are the people who are not on strike or who are the people on strike. They got cameras to monitor them. They're intimidating them. Now I say I'm going to name a particular school where it's happening. Y'all could go and check for the evidence. What Report Primary? I have a Report Primary. And not only did they put camera at Report Primary to monitor the teachers, because the teachers turned out 100% on the last strike, from Report. A predominantly Indo-Guyanese community, predominantly Indo-Guyanese staff, predominantly PPP supporters. They got a shock. They had a shock of their life. All the teachers turned out on strike. And so, shoot, we got to do something about this. Let me call the Indo-Guyanese teachers quietly and give them land. That was done. Check. Let me intimidate them. Install camera. That was done. Check. Let us ensure that the head teacher who is Afro-Guyanese has no privacy and autonomy to manage the school now. Let us take one of our supporters from the NDC and plant it. I won't even call the person man, woman, or child. It in the head teacher's office. Let us take one of our supporters from the NDC and plant it in the head teacher's office. And so the head teachers will have no privacy of interacting with her teachers. Their teacher will have no privacy of communicating even with her seniors. Their teacher will have no privacy walking in her office. I asked earlier, who gonna watch the who gonna watch the cat? You put cat to watch me, who gonna watch the cat? In this instance, their teachers there to manage the school, but their teacher got to watch her. You know what I'm saying? Their teacher got to watch her. So nothing is confidential in their teacher's office anymore. That is what they did at Report Primary, and that is what they're doing across the country. That is Putin Russia for you. That is the democracy in this country. That is governance. That is love in their hearts, according to that group of crosses that say all that they got in their heart is love. That is what citizens have to put up with in this society, where you got demigods controlling the coffers of the nation, telling you every now and again, we are accountable to the nation. But that is how they show their accountability. That is how they show their accountability. Good. I'm about to open up the lines, but I want to say this to you. I said to you yesterday, I can't tell you too much about the lawsuit. But since a decision has been made, and it is a decision that will stick, at least a major part of it, I have a right to tell you. Because we are family. Family don't hide things from family. So the claim, statement of claim, I think they call it, was served on me sometime 45, 46 days ago. From that, I don't know. But I was of the opinion that it wasn't served properly. It wasn't served properly. I consulted a lawyer who said, hey, the service is not legal. Ignore it. But then in hindsight, I said, you know what? Even if the service is not legal now, at some point in time, they're going to serve it anyhow. Because they got different ways that the court could order that it be served. Let me just deal with this. And 14 days after the service, I went and I engaged the lawyers who agreed to take the case and file the defense and so on. They had, according to the claim, they had 28 days, I think, to respond from the date of service. And so in order to prepare a proper defense, they needed more time. They applied to the courts for more time. They were given Friday last as the date. When we turned up in court, the judge took certain actions, which resulted in the dismissal of the application for more time to respond. And in dismissing the application for more time to respond, the judge ordered that I pay $50,000 cost to the claimant, right? Or the lawyers of the claimant, whatever, but $50,000 cost was ordered. Good. That was done. I had a conference with my lawyers. We had certain discourses. They knew that according to COVID protocol established by the judiciary, they actually had 42 days or 41 days to respond. So they resorted to that. They were told, yes, you are within the timeline to submit the defense. And so the defense was submitted on Friday. But I was informed just last evening that the cost order stands. It is not going to be abandoned. I got an explanation for that. I'm not necessarily that I agree with the explanation, but the cost order stands. So the first round, I can't say an error because people could, I guess, act on what is presented to them. I was penalized for not responding on time. $50,000 cost. But this is what that ruling of the judge would have meant. If I didn't respond on time, there's something you call a default judgment where the claimant gets all that the claimant claims. And so in actuality, I was going to be placed in a situation where I basically have to honor whatever the claimant claims, whatever the court awards on this default judgment. So as I said, a railroad was set up somewhere to railroad somebody. But thankfully, the lawyers have been able to file the defense, and so I await a court date for us to hear the substantive matter of the lawsuit. Right? And we had the time to hear the substantive matter of the lawsuit. But my concern is, if according to this protocol, the response was filed within the time of 41 days, why am I penalized to pay $50,000 cost? Why can't that judgment be abandoned? Why? Or why not? But I await the matter going forward. That's my latest update. And I feel that I'm justified in discussing this aspect with you because it's a done deal. The court has ruled that I must pay $50,000 costs. They dismissed my request for an extension of time to respond. Why wouldn't the court want to give you a fair opportunity to respond that claims are respond to claims that are made against you? Why not? Like I said, Lady Justice is blind. And if all is equal under the eyes of the law, why not give this person a fair chance to respond to these claims? All right, he didn't do it in the appropriate time. But is there a provision in the law that says he can be granted an extension of time? Yes. Why not give it to him? In the interest of justice, why not give it to him? One story got two sides. Let him man tell his side, no man. But no. Let us pull the rug from under his feet so he can't get to tell his side and we're going to penalize him. Wax, licks. But again, I'm thankful to my lawyers that they were able to get the defense filed. Somebody is asking the question if my lawyers can get the judge removed. Let me tell you what is the judicial, if that's the correct terminology here. Judicial what? Practice in this country. Lawyers don't like to go up against judges and magistrates. Mr. Amsterdam is only one client, you know. There are going to be many other clients that lawyers have to deal with across this country. And it means that there are many more times when they will have to go before judges and magistrates. So why sully the relationship between judges and magistrates and lawyers by asking for the removal? Especially that you know that this society is small and it's vindictive and it doesn't necessarily function on the pillars of justice. Because I would rather suspect in a place like the US, for example, if somebody goes before the judge and say, Judge, I'm asking you to recuse yourself. I think you're a biased human being. And I'm coming to this conclusion based on X, Y, and Z. It's possible that that person will get a hearing. As a matter of fact, looking at these law and order and all kind of thing, not even the judge himself, his or herself, gets to hear that request. Another judge gets to hear that request. And then they conclude whether or not the fear is justifiable, and then a decision is made in Guyana. In most instances, I think hell has to freeze over before you could get any judge removed from any matter. Right? I'm not saying lawyers are inept for not doing it or not being able to do it, but we live in a society of fear and coercion. When I looked at when I told someone who my lawyer is, they say the lawyer is a good liar, but the judiciary doesn't like him. And so the prognosis, the possible outcome of your matter got to do with whether or not the judiciary like a liar. Huh? Because they got issues with your lawyer, they're going to railroad you. Is that what this man was? You know, so there are so many. In Ghana, administration of justice is I don't know. There's so many things to consider, right? In another territory, for example, would a criticism like the one Jagdir threw at Justice Sandil Kisoon be allowed to just go like that, as scathing remarks, or would that person be drawn before the courts to answer for their utterances, to justify their utterances? We live in anything goes society, man. So sometimes we just got to. So the question that was asked, can your lawyers get the judge removed? I don't know. I don't know if my lawyer wants the judge removed. The lawyer will have to consult with me in the first instance to ask if I want the judge removed. Good. But some people are not prepared to take certain fights because it's inimical to their own interests. Can you see yourself as a lawyer who challenges the judiciary, but has, let's say, ambition of becoming a magistrate or a judge, a puny judge, etc.? We petty bad in this country. If you were to challenge the judiciary, the chancellor and everybody, all the hierarchy of the judiciary believe that it's a personal attack. This is how this country does operate. It's like you call out the police on a matter, the whole hierarchy of the police force seem to believe that you got an issue with them. And so every opportunity they get to mash your car and they mash it. Why do you think people are fearful and people don't talk? Right? What will we do to get a blinded lady justice? I don't know what we can do. I know we got to change this nasty, stinking, dirty, corrupt government and form of governance. I know we have to have systems in place that will hold every citizen accountable, including administrative judicial officers. And it must be efficient. Now, when you carry a complaint against a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a magistrate, a judge, it takes you 2 and 3 generations and still has not come to conclusion. We can't fix a society like that. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Let's talk the thing. PPP's putinous behavior. They're trying to coerce and harass and separate and segregate and divide and rule the working class, showing ethnic preferences. The lines are open. Call your live.
Good morning, Kadaki, and good morning to your audience. I want to touch on 2 things. The first has to do with the cameras in the school. I have been a teacher for many decades, all over the world, actually, I can say. And I have never heard where the administration of the day can install cameras in a school that hinges on people's privacy. Schools, for camera to be placed in the school, it has to come from a draconian administration, a despotic administration, an administration that borders on dictatorship or apartheid case. I'm saying so to say this, that you have to first of all have permission from parents if they will allow the kids to be viewed on camera, regardless of where the cameras are placed. Kids' vision, their presence, their likeness will be shown on cameras. That is a violation, and that is not only akin to the graveyard, that's an international thing for the Western world. You don't just throw up a camera because you choose to do it. I taught in the US for over 24 years. And for some instances where you want to view a lesson for the purpose of seeing your performance, or for other administrators to take a look who couldn't be present at the time when you were teaching, you have to have permission from the parents. What crap is happening in Guyana that this racist administration could willy-nilly throw camera all over the place just to be draconian on those who they hate? Because they never love anyone anyhow. You can't have hate in your heart and have love for people. So I'm saying that is sufficient grounds for lawyers to head up to the High Court. That's tangible grounds. You can't do that. Is Guyana not a country that has signatory to things that are UN designated? What is going on in that lawless country? So I'm saying they have recourse they can follow. You just don't throw up camera all over the place. Next thing you see those same pictures that they are viewing on a 24-hour basis all over the Facebook. It becomes like a private discourse among the elites. That is so egregious. And the other thing I want to talk about is the situation that you were just talking about in the courts. We are now beginning to see among those judges who follow the law or who follow Freedom House. And I want to say categorically, in your situation, the way they come down without even giving you a chance to proffer something that will substantiate why things couldn't happen the way they expected it, and they throw a 50,000 fine at you, those are the ones who are in the belly of the beast. They don't follow the law. They follow what Rob Street said. And that is what I have to say today, and I don't want to go any further. You have a wonderful day, Kadak.
Thank you, caller. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. Caller, we talk the thing. I think I see voice notes. So y'all allow me to play some voice notes and then we'll come back to the calls. Caller Live, good morning. Caller, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, sorry.
Good morning.
All right. Two things I want to discuss with this program. One, in the public sector, in terms of the teachers and etc., and the police force go down, we in a situation as a people with a main concern, even though the being unfair, is years of service. The fighting in the area. But I as a relation to the program, and I don't mind full of calling it, but something like a call in this morning. You said something that ring a bell. Did nobody, even the average person in this country, to fight over question the system? Listen to this. I am done working taxi. 2 days before City Council come and enforce the law, they was sharing around a document. Anyway, I asked a document for whatever reason. Other people intervened, and I agree with them. They didn't give it to me. But you know, when I see about this document, the document stating that look, the Article 250 whatever gives City Council the authority to remove them. But the document stating is the matter whereby banks carry them to court to remove, banks carry them and they're removing them now, which is City Council removing them. Now, if you got an article that gives you the right, the body, which is City Council, to remove, You must got another article stating something in the line of vending or not vending. You know, strange and sad enough, most of the people that are wrong, them call that the name you know that it's called itself. Oh, them is there's hard men, the right terms that my friend Nigel is used. Them is hard men. You know there's hard men, and not one of them in ask a question pertaining to that. If you got the article, of course, if you got the act telling me that it gives you the authority to remove, you got to act into something in the line of vending and etc. But they just throw back, they don't ask a blasted question, and they're calling themselves help. Madam President, even the citizens of this country, they ask nothing. They give it give it to the state, to whoever side, coalition, the small, but all them small party, I feel like they get the wrong paper back too because you don't hear nothing about them. You're seeing them nowhere, you're hearing nothing about them. So all of them, the citizens of this country, give them the authority to ask them nothing, and they to treat the citizens of this country like it belongs to them. Not even not a politician for no end will come out to these people and say, no, these people is up-down foot soldiers. Let me see this document we're solving. Nobody but strange enough, not even the people them that vended in questioning these people. Even from Regent Street, they're asking more questions. Even, well, I tell you, wrong them go. Now, if you say the law is this, leave drainage, carpet, and walkway, is what the city council law. Now, because I vend in the compounds, well, they be last about the section drainage, carpet, it govern within the city council. Now, if you're saying, okay, leave drainage, carpet, show me the boundary. Show me the boundary. Better show me the boundary. I want to see some farm of paper. Just as how you could show me that it gives you the authority to remove me, I want to see the under, then I could walk. But no, they just throw back and listen. Strange enough, these people got things that they pay for children going to school. They got other little bills. Would it be paid? They got commitment, but none of them, you know, you got to tell who you really heading. And now I see they talking from my point of view. Means declaring what it be because they got things to right left tongue. I hear a boxing got in the daily meeting and all, you know what I do? I only me in and protect myself, because I could protect myself. And I born and go into Yado, and I got to make a living here. Money spending here, and I got to get it. Me ain't getting it by, I can bend over, we ain't over there, just here, etc. I got the head, I got bonds I need, and I got to get some of the money that's spending. Hey, good day.
Thank you for your call. Yeah, indeed, some valid points there. People are not questioning anything. People are not questioning anything. Morning, neighbor, morning. They're not like me, conniving, morning. Oh, you know, it's the 1st of May. Happy new month. Oh, yeah, I survived the last month. I saw a woman talking the other day. Well, last evening, perhaps on Facebook. She said, if you're working for $2,000 a day, you can't cook home, you know. It's quite expensive to cook home. It's easier for you to go and buy a food on the road, even if you got to pay $1,500 for it. Right? How y'all making out? How y'all passed last night? How y'all passed yesterday? Yesterday was Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Come to think of it, Dr. Hines should be on. Sometimes when you get into the holiday feeling, you just forget how we're supposed to be doing. Let's see if Dr. Hines had enough patience to stay. Yaga. What a thing. Morning, neighbor, morning. Neighbor, morning, are you morning? How was it last night? How was it yesterday? You make some money? Do you think that you were able to improve your quality of life by your efforts under this Janko? Well, morning. Yeah, it's Labor Month now, 1st of May. I got some things to tell y'all, but we're gonna talk about it later. Don't worry. Let's see if Dr. Hines is on first. Yes, the good doctor is there. Dr. Hines, good morning. Hello. Well, I won't blame him if he left. At least he left the app signed in to say, well, I was here and you weren't. Not that I didn't want to be. I just forgetful, man. Sometimes it happens. So yeah, morning is Labor Day. How y'all doing? Today, Labor is going to be out in its glory. They're going to be marching up and down the road. And they will be singing Solidarity Forever. Solidarity Forever. The union makes us strong. Which union are you talking about? Which union you're talking about in Ghana? The Ghana Public Service Union ain't making nobody strong. Yeah. Ghana Public Service Union ain't making nobody strong. Patrick Yard is weak. Right? They say once a man, twice a child. As you age, your body, the tissues, your body, your muscles, and everything become weak. And so Patrick Yard certainly is displaying that weakness as head of the Ghana Public Service Union. The man don't even utter a word when this government is misbehaving. Right? But solidarity, the workers definitely need solidarity. You're going to see movements in my background and so on, and you might hear some noise and things. And that is one of the reasons why I maybe just absent-mindedly didn't come on in time for Dr. Hines for us to chat. I totally forgot, seriously. I was contemplating whether or not to do this morning's program because the environment is not necessarily going to be as conducive as is usually necessary. Yeah, I like mind business, so let's tell you how it's happening. They're installing air conditioners in Club Twilight. Like I said, we want you to get the best atmosphere and experience in Club Twilight in Buxton. Arguably, Club Twilight is the most upgraded, up-to-date facility venue in Buxton. It's no idle boast. You come, you get comfort, ambience, look good, smell good. Prices are good. And consistently, the management continues to try to improve so that you can quote unquote get the Georgetown experience in Buxton, right? City experience in the village. Yeah, Buxton was a premier village and still, in my mind, is a premier village. And so we have to continue to strive to improve what we offer our residents and what we offer our visitors. Good? And we should do that for our country too. But when you look around you, especially in the Garden City, the capital city, you can't be convinced that we're making those efforts to improve on what we offer to our visitors and our residents. Why? Politicalisms and schisms. People are fighting for control. And in order to get control, they believe that it is necessary to scorch the earth. That's the policy of the PPP, scorch the earth. Run down everything, broke down everything, And when they done run down and broke down, campaign for control of it. Right? We're going to break up GPL and then we're going to say GPL should be privatized because the country, the public service, government workers are not doing a good job to keep GPL working and working efficiently. Right? Our run down GPC and tell you the same thing. That is why they have to sell it out. You run down a lot of state entities and say that is why we have to privatize it. It is not that real efforts were made to fix these entities. But people just tell themselves, hey, these are money bags we're watching at, If only we can get them into the hands of private people who are on our side. Private people who will front for us. Right? And that's what you're living in this country. Every time I talk about these things, I look at what happens with Gaiwa. For all of the years, the PPP and the PPP's men couldn't fix Gaiwa. The quality of water citizens were getting. And in under 5 years, shout out to Van West Charles. Van West Charles, when he was made CEO of Gaiwa, quickly turned around the quality of water citizens were getting and the consistency with which they were getting it. The pressure with which they were getting it. The water became clear, odorless, potable or potable. You were getting water to at least your first floor without the use of an electronic pump. All of those things happened when Van West Charles was CEO. Areas that were never served by Gaiwa in terms of water provision, those areas were served. Areas that never had pump or well, that's the correct thing, yes. Areas that never had wells. Wells were dug. And so citizens' quality of life was being improved because there was a will to improve the people's quality of life and not to steal their resources for personal enrichment. So there was a will and people worked on that will. I remember the guy would brought on board an app because this is the modern time. This is the digital age. This is when people use apps. All you have to do is take a photograph of where the leak was and send it to a particular WhatsApp number. Photograph is usually geotagged and guy would find the location and fix it within hours. Leaks were happening, but they were being fixed quickly. Because why? Thomas Charles is a medical doctor, so he understands the importance of healthy water and how poor quality water can impact people's health. And if you have broken mains, leaking mains, then all kinds of bacteria will get into the water mains and contaminate it. So emphasis was placed on fixing leaks. Not anymore. I don't even know if that app still works. How many of you have tried reporting a leak to Gaiwa in recent times? And how many days did it take to fix? I remember a resident of Den Amstel. A resident of Den Amstel sending me a video of a leak in the area, and it was washing away the road. I wonder how long it took to fix that leak. Right? I really wonder how long it took to fix that leak. So, the naysayers, when you complain or when you highlight these things, they say you're bad-minded and you're this and you're that, and the government can't do nothing to please you, and everything you're complaining about, and so on and so forth. But the reality is, unless we identify, unless we highlight these issues which are plaguing our society, we can improve the society. We're now holding government accountable.
Yes,
right?
let me back once again, yo. This is what I'm speaking about.
And so,
See what's going on there?
as a good Christian says to me and my house,
All the way.
we'll
See,
continue to
there's a
serve
center
you
there.
because we'll continue to bring
Another fraction
you.
away from the center. Look at it. All this is water waste in here.
Look at that.
After the water pressure so slow by me, look at it. That is it there. And I'm going to the center. I'll show you all the work that they try to remedy. This is it all the way. See the water wasting how much thousands of gallons of water don't waste it for the day. And since when I meet it this morning, how much water waste already? Look at this. Look at this. All the way. Nobody can come look up this up, you know. Nobody call up these people. Come on, man. The resident in the area not fit, man. The resident didn't do nothing, but they didn't say nothing, I do nothing. They're supposed to call up and what's not already, man. This is
a leak that is not fixed on time is a leak that will cause taxpayers pain. It will mean the expenditure of funds that could have been used otherwise to improve the quality of life by the government. It means that the health will be threatened. And so it's important to have these things addressed in a timely manner. You see the damage, the water damage there. You see where the leak is. But look around the area from the video and you'll see how much water damage is taking place. In short order, the street that is being soaked by that water, like the viewer said, thousands of gallons of water, will have to be resurfaced because it's been undermined. But they come here and they tell you, don't blame the government. Don't blame the government. Who's responsible for the management of our resources? Who is responsible for the administration of the country? Who should I blame? Who must I blame? Until such time that we can see issues for what they are and address them for what they are and acknowledge them for what they are, we ain't going nowhere as a people. We're not growing as a people. And those that are controlling the resources in government will continue to ensure that we don't grow as a people. They will continue to put spokes in our wheels so that we don't go as a people. Let me tell you this. Right now, as I speak to you, today is the 1st of May. Y'all see Miranda Brown on the live? Miranda, if you're present, show yourself. Because I doubt Miranda is present. Because Miranda, as we speak, might be traveling to PPP's Congress. They got Congress. It starts today. But it doesn't interest me that the PPP has Congress starting today. The PPP's Congress is going to be from the 1st to the 5th. From Labor Day to Arrival Day. Right? You know what concerns me? Even as we are speaking, right? Even as we're speaking, policemen and women are in line. You know what it is to be in line? Huh? To be in line is to be, let me call it in box. Right? The barracks. So they are keeping policemen and women in line for the next 5 days at least. Why? Because the PPP has Congress and the Guyana Police Force has to protect those who will be attending Congress. Had it been the PNC, had it been Fox Barnum, you would have heard what? Paramountcy of the party. State resources are being used for party events. And I'm not talking, as they say, with water in my mouth. I know what I'm saying. Do you think that the members of the Guyana Police Force, the ranks of the Guyana Police Force, are in line only in cases of a breach of the peace, to respond to that breach of the peace at the PPP's conference? No. Public assets like police vehicles, minibuses, etc., police transportation, government assets will be used to facilitate the hosting of the PPP's Congress over 5 days. If the PNC were to host its Congress and the PNC has meals being prepared at Uaha, they would have had to hire transportation to transport the meals from Uaha to the place where Congress is being held. If they wanted to ensure that their meals were being prepared under safe and hygienic conditions, they would have had to have trusted lieutenants present in those kitchens to ensure that the meals are properly prepared and prepared safely. Who is tasked with that as we speak? Members of the Guyana Police Force. Members of the Guyana Police Force have to be providing security services at those locations where the meals are being prepared, and I can name the locations because I know them, right? They're mostly on the east coast of Demerara, in those areas where 47 ballot boxes were found without supporting documents. And so the meals are being prepared in that particular geographic space, let me call it that. Ranks of the Guyana Police Force are providing security to those locations. You want me to tell you more? You want me to go in depth with the security detail? Some you will see, some you will not see. That doesn't mean that they're not there. Good. So state resources are used to facilitate the PPP's Congress. Ranks have to provide security service, ranks have to transport the food, ranks have to guard the food, ranks have to guard the venue where the Congress is being held. Can you assess the cost for such security operation for the next 5 days? It is going to run us into hundreds of millions of dollars, I dare say. Because if ranks are in line, when you're in line, the force has the responsibility to feed you. And that's only one resource that will be utilized. There are lots of other resources that will be utilized when you're in line. Paul Slow might know might know the long list of resources that will be used. Ranks who are providing security service, many of them will be doing overtime. Vehicles running up and down the road to provide services to the Congress will be utilizing fuel, not to mention wear and tear. So the Guyanese citizens, even as I speak with you this morning, the coffers are bearing the brunt. They're carrying a high price because the PPP is hosting its Congress. But those who are here will tell you, don't talk about it. Because it's we time now. Right? It's we time now. But one has to ask, why is it that the PPP has to be so gung-ho on putting the security service in line, the police force in line? Of being so concerned about security and safety? While they host their Congress, they say, do no evil, fear no evil. Do no evil, fear no evil. So is it a display of fear? We know that we have not been good to the Guyanese citizens, and the possibility is somebody is going to want to take a shot at us. Huh? Talk to me. Talk to me. Jan Daniel is asking if this is the only government in power does this. I can't answer, Jen. I don't know. I didn't make it as a study. I didn't make it a scientific study. Did you make it a scientific study? Does the United States of America allow its resources to be used for partisan reasons. When the Democrats are in government, do they get the opportunity to use the state's resources when they're hosting the congresses? When the Republicans are in office, do they get to do that? I know the US has electoral financing laws and so on where you have to declare, excuse me, where your sources of finance coming from for you to contest elections. I know that. And I know abuse of the people's resources will land you smack dab in jail. And we like to reference the US and we like to reference North America and Europe. And so those are standards to aspire to. Those are standards to aspire to. Why can't we aspire to those standards? Right? But you see, we have this partisan nature. We have this ethnic allegiance that because it is being done by one of us, we must not call it out. I want a woman, let we give a free pass. You know, do the right thing, but I want to not let we talk because you go make we look bad. And so from 1, it goes to 2. And then it goes to 3. And next thing you know, you got a whole crowd of people doing the wrong thing. And it becomes uncontrollable. And then it becomes the norm. And people sit in silence because when you talk about it now, it appears as though you're a hater. And nobody wants to be a hater. You're a coach. Nobody wants to be a coach. But I like talk. And I will continue to talk because I'm talking for better governance, a better quality of life for the citizens. And so telling them people at the Buxton Falls NDC, y'all got a lot of lawlessness happening in this place. Y'all best get it fixed. I'm going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to talk about it. Y'all got to fix it, man. David Jones and Chairman Martins and Marcia, who is his name? Darcy. Here. It happening right under y'all eyes. They're right next door. Y'all so blind, y'all can't see it. Y'all can't see that the laws, the bylaws, the local government laws and so on are being infringed upon. Yeah, people got progress. People got to make a bread. But you have to make a bread within the confines of the law. So Buxton Falls NDC, hint to Kwashiba make Bashiba take notice. Right? Right by your doorstep. Because if it continues, I'm going to talk about it and you're going to vex. Prasad say you're just wasting people's time. Yeah. We got time to waste. Let us waste it on the PPP and the misbehaving government. You notice this morning's headline? We're still laboring. Yes, Ian Williams, when you talk about it, you're victimized. But you're going to allow that to stop you from talking about it? Because if you allow that to stop you from talking about it, then expect several other generations behind you going to be victimized. And they're going to curse you and say you're the fault because you didn't do anything about it. Nana Colley and residents of Friendship and Buxton and so on, they stopped the governor train. They stopped the governor train. Pregnant women and so lie down. Stand up on the train line and say, hey, we ain't sticking for this nonsense taxation without representation and that kind of thing. No. We end up on that. Because if we allow that to happen, our children will have to bear the burden in the future, and we ain't gonna depend on. Critchlow, you were Nathaniel Critchlow, the father of trade unionism. I wonder if Thakur, Pasado, whoever he name knows that. It's Labor Day, and that's why I say we're still laboring. The trade union fraternity in Guyana and the Caribbean is very old. Can't tell you the age. I'm going to research it to tell you exactly. Right? Then sit by and say, if I talk and I'm going to get work as a Stevie though. If I talk, they're going to victimize me. Critchlow spoke. Critchlow acted. Critchlow gave birth to trade unionism. Guyanese workers get represented. Today, the PPP is fighting to destroy unionism. Thank God to Justice Sandel Kisuni say, strike is the union's ultimate weapon. The PPP doesn't like that. They ridicule him because why? They expected him to display ethnic preferences. Or is what are we? Let it do what they like. The government look like us. Or I look like the government. Let it do what they like. And then you get a runaway train named the PPP. You have to stand up when you see wrong things happening. Wrong things will happen. It's human beings we're dealing with, but we can stop it in the track. We can stop it before it gets too bad. And so we're still laboring because we have in power an anti-working class party. Many used to believe that the PPP is pro-workers. The PPP has never, in government, displayed an attitude that suggests that it is pro-workers. Let's go back from 1992, when the PPP took office. Right? From 1992, when the PPP took office. Well, let me tell you this. In 1989, a strike restored collective bargaining power to unions. Right? In 1989, strike restored collective bargaining to unions. But imagine in 2024, and in 1989, the PPP was in government. Let us not forget that. Right? In 1989, the PNC was in government in 1989. This dictatorship party, this party that was so corrupt, and this party that had no respect for workers and so on, in 1989, they were in power. And through strike action, collective bargaining was restored. In 2024, Guyana Teachers Union had to go on strike for collective bargaining to be respected under the PPP. And I dare argue restored under the PPP. The courts, thank God to Justice Sandel Kisun, has sanctioned the PPP government and say, y'all go back to the table. Collective bargaining should be respected. Not in those words, but that would, the ruling basically said that. Has the PPP respected that? No. We go into court, we go and challenge this ruling. Several weeks after the ruling, have you seen the PPP going back to the table? No, they ain't going back to the table. Right? The British Guiana Labour Union was founded in 1919. Y'all do the maths. How many years is that? In 2024, 1981 is 20. Looks like 105 years or something. 105 years. British Guiana Labour Union was founded in 1919, emerging as a labor union amongst black dock workers, led by Hubert Critchlow. Soon expanded into a colony-wide labor movement. British Guiana Labour Union was not the first trade union in the Caribbean, but was the first to be legally registered. Right? Here is a 2014 letter to the editor. It's headline, now the PPPC is in office, they no longer fight for the rights of the sugar workers. Right? After the 1992 elections, the rallies that had been held in West Berbice and Labor Day were stopped. Workers were abandoned and had no way of reaching their leaders, both PPP and GAU face to face. The rights of the workers were no more as GAU continued to have a relationship with the PPP and started to sleep in the same bed with the PPPC government. Right? One can say the same in a general way, that once the PPP got into government in 1992, they were never pro-workers. They were never pro-labor. They're pro-party support. So the attention that they're giving to workers in the sugar belt, that attention is based on political support. That attention is based on political support. They're not supporting labor for the sake of labor. You check from 1992 to current, anytime public servants especially were to be given an increase in wages and salaries and improved standards of work, conditions of work, they had to fight tooth and nail for it. They had to go to arbitration. Remember the Armstrong Commission and all of that? That is how public servants were granted what one might consider a meaningful increase in wages and salary under the PPP. And they never honored all of the recommendations of that commission. Never. Not until this day have they honored it. Here we are in 2024. Same attitude. Workers have to fight tooth and nail to get what they justly deserve. So we're still laboring under the PPP. We have more resources. But we're still laboring under the PPP. to get just wages and salaries and improve conditions of work. It's 2024. We're still building school buildings as open rectangular boxes, rectangular structures, open floor plan. Classrooms are not individualized. We're still using chalkboards. Teachers still are operating in staff room with little or no furniture. Desk tables without tables with dilapidated tops and chairs, dilapidated chairs and so on. Here I'm going to call this one by his name, Jackass Parmanand. Jackass Parmanand says the only wage increases under the APNU was the MPs. I'm convinced this chap dead, brain dead. In the short term the APNU spent in office, they were able to increase workers' salaries by over 100% as far as I remember. Maybe 200% for all you know. Because when they got there, workers were getting an average of $35,000 a month. By the time they left, they were getting in excess of 100,000 or close to 100,000. And this jackass, a complete jackass, comes here to tell us that the only increases in wages was for the MPs. The PPP MPs benefited from those increases too, and they had promised that they were not going to take it, they were going to return it to the coffers. Remember that? Have they returned it to the coffers? As a matter of fact, under the coalition, the agreement was after this increase, ministers of government will not get another increase. So as we increase the wages and salaries of the public servants, I don't expect anything. But check, every increase that is given to public servants in this country, the PPP MPs are getting. Yeah, every increase, even the 6% that they get them. Even the 6% that they give them, the PPP MPs and ministers got. Come on, man. Continue shifting the goalpost, Parmanand, the jackass. You guys are ridiculously expecting all these improvements to be done overnight. You all expected the coalition to do so much overnight without all money, while fighting a no confidence motion. But here we are shifting the goalposts. Why you all expect the PPP to do so much? Because we've seen them do a whole lot for themselves. Don't you see that? Why Parmanand hasn't addressed me talking about the PPP misusing state resources for its Congress? Is not something worthy of talking about, Parmanand? Where your conscience there? Huh? But then your lower exterior, anyhow. Where your conscience there? I heard a video the other day of a reporter, perhaps from Kaicho News, asking the Barlet tyrant, if he could live on $80,000 a month. Instead of addressing the issue, he ranted and raved about people wanting to know his personal business. And he don't tell people his personal business. And now when was PNC time, they eat out all the money that the country is making. And this is what they want to do now. At least they were giving the citizens the money to eat out, apparently. But in this society right now, only the PPP eating out the money. I see Sherrod was showing what was happening in Maburuma, I think. The multi-million-dollar road that was built and the steel's big and fat out of the concrete road. Right there in Plaisance. I told you all are going to video road in Plaisance sometime. It's not a month since the road built. They declare it finished today, and a day or two after it started crumbling. I just said, no, Shiv, not. Y'all ain't got no conscience. Y'all ain't got no ethical bone on which to stand. We still laboring. And unless we get rid of the PPP, we ain't gonna get value for we labor. We ain't gonna get value for we labor. Let's talk about that. The lines are opened. 6225923 is the number to call. And let's tell y'all something. I might just have to get up from here suddenly, shut the program down and hit the road. I got a lot to do. But I'm waiting on people to call me to get it done. Right? So you might not have a full, you may go to 9 o'clock. Perhaps I will try to get there, but all things are possible. The lines are open. 6225923 is the number to call. We're still laboring under the PPP. They're still misusing our resources to host Congress. Our servicemen and women are in line as we speak because the quote-unquote dignitaries, I don't know what dignifying about them, at Congress have to be protected. And the food, the preparation of the food has to be monitored. You see, they're concerned about what they eat. But when they were selling their supporters barbecue, they weren't concerned. Supporters were paying their hard-earned $2,000 to buy barbecue. So they didn't concern about the quality nor quantity that they gave to them. But they're concerned about the quality and quantity that they're getting for the Congress. Call it live.
Hello, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning.
Good morning to
I
you.
call in concerning an incident that's going on in Madio. Now, if the maids at the hospital taken to clean the hospital, they taken these maids and put them to clean out of government buildings. That these government workers come in, there's not clean the building. If they spend 2 years in the building, just the building, they're dirty, the fridge dirty, all over dirty, putting these people to clean it. Fine. Now, they're having drivers because these drivers are straight. Even these drivers, $30,000 on their pay if they call them out of their bed to take a patient to the hospital or go anywhere for a patient. Why they cannot do the same thing for the maids? Give them $30,000 on their salary. Now they get the malaria workers going in all the various bags, risking their life where they could drown in Kananruka River and where they could drown because the waters raise here when rain fall. The motorbikes taking up, the vehicles taking up. Them are raising these people pay because them as black people. Why they can't give these people $30,000 on their salary a month? so that these people could go and do what they has to do. Which these people are supposed to go in the fields. There's not taking on no fields assistance. They having a lady at the office, their personal officer, she taking on no black people, she Ramayan people. The few black people that working, doing the dog work, they are treating these people, Mr. Kadoki, like real dogs. Now, what is straight here get option to do? The black people don't have option to do. Why is it going on in Region 8? I need Norton and Chevron down for them to come to Region 8 and also you and see what is going on the ground here. Fine. They have some mosquito nets sharing out for malaria. Malaria is rampant and mad. You know what these people saying? Frank Anthony got to come Friday for share out the mosquito net. These things are, you could see plainly where the politicalness going on, where PPP is political. Mosquito net got wait for a minute to come for share it out. Since when? What happened to the supervisor? Since when? Mr. Kadoki, thank you for listening.
Thank you for calling. It's called political silly season. It's campaign season. It's silly season. We have a few months from elections. It's silly season. So mosquito net ministers have to spend taxpayers' money to travel by aircraft to go to Northwest or wherever, Nabaruma, with an entourage to distribute mosquito nets in 2024. I am positive that the amount of money that will be expended to get to Maburum or wherever to distribute those nets will be far above the cost of those nets. But jackass like Shivnath don't recognize that. They can't understand that. Because they got their head so high up in Jaguar's backside. They can't even recognize this. But the problem is Kidaki Amsterdam and Sherrod Duncan and Mark Benschop and Whitford Burke and David Hines and so on. Yeah, that's where the problem is. Not with the way their friends and cronies in government are misusing the nation's resources. But if when Biden uses Air Force One to travel to another state for a campaign rally, the Democratic National Committee has to pay for the cost of that flight, not the state. That's law and order. That's respect for the nation's resources. When Frank Anthony chooses to jump on an aircraft privately chartered from the National Security Advisor Govile's company, you recognize conflict of interest anywhere there? It's taxpayers' money going to pay for it. But we don't have a problem with that, do we? No, we can't have a problem with that. It's we time now. It's we time now. PPP time now. Let them enjoy the sweet. I got some voice notes.
Good morning, Mr. Hines. Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. You know, the teachers that Ali invite to meet him is Bribey trying to bribe them. But the teachers must stand their ground. You're going to give me land, I'm going to take it. But they ain't going to vote for you, because if I vote for you, you're going to continue to oppress me. Right? They vote for him, they're going to continue to oppress the teachers. So the teachers got to stand their ground. Yes, if you give me land, I'm going to take it. So the teachers got to make sure, don't make the government control them. You have to know who you're going to vote for to make your life better. Guyanese, don't fall into the trap, because this is what they're doing, bribing people. Y'all be careful, because this election that coming is a lot of money going to spin all over the place. So be careful, Guyanese. Bye.
Thank you for that voice note.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning to your listening audience. I think this government is very wicked and spiteful towards Afro-Guyanese. Because just imagine, our teacher is the mind molder. Our teacher is the second parent that preparing our children for the future. Our teacher is like a doctor, a lawyer, a mother, a father, a pastor to our children. And Jagdeo Hat and Ephraim Ali and Nandlal and all them have to remember that they had a teacher that mold their mind to become the future leader of Guyana. And I don't see the reason why they just tag.
You ready? All right. Where am I to? Good, cool. Thank you for that voice note. You're still tuned to the Guyanese morning time. It's Labor Day morning. It's the 1st of May. I'm thinking possibly later in the day, once the time permits, we will sit and we will have some chat about labor. We'll be following, I wish I should say, to follow the Labor Day March and so on and so forth, so you guys can be informed. Good? Listen, it's time for me to go. I have to go. It's 24 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. It was nice being here. A shortened version of the program, but I'm sure you're more informed. And I'm sure you're going to continue to look out for the PPP and the friends as they misbehave. If time permits, I'll be back on a little later in the day. And I'll be coming to you with a magazine program then. We're going to play some music. We're going to listen to some music. We're going to share some thoughts. We're going to share some videos. We're going to talk about the Labor Day parade and so on and so forth. Right? Sorry for shortchanging you. It happens sometimes. Days like these, I get to do the most. Right? So, peace out. We'll talk. Let me remind you to go over to TikTok. Look for me, Kidaki Amsterdam. Follow me on TikTok because the aim is to be able to broadcast on TikTok soon. Much love. Bye-bye.